This, as you know, is Christopher and Catherine, your favorite 401 couple. And our guest today on the podcast is Sheri Fitts. Yay! Okay,
Yay.
now then. Sheri, for the three people in the United States who do not know Sheri, okay, I love how she has herself described. These are her words. Sheri is a card-carrying misfit with a mission to help financial pros find their voice and make a dent in the universe. Yes, she does this with Sway and Sway Live. It's the only conference designed specifically to help financial professionals build and amplify their personal brand. We think her main message is be authentic and be creative. I think we first met through someone in one of our study groups when it was still COVID-y and nobody was meeting in person and everybody was looking for virtual things. And we had been, and I think you came on as a LinkedIn expert for our.
There were, so
I think that's what you did.
during COVID, one of the things I did was a massive amount of helping folks get their virtual shirt together. So that happened a lot. And then I've been doing LinkedIn from 2008, maybe 2006 to 2008. I've been helping people figure out LinkedIn. So, I can't remember which was first. But I do know it was a study group.
Yeah. And I think I'm thinking Shannon Edwards introduced us. I think.
Oh, Shannon.
Sure Shannon
Probably
brought
Shannon.
you into our group. And then
you can play 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or play
4 degrees of Shannon.
I think it's 4 degrees.
It might be 4 degrees.
And that is a compliment.
So, and then I joined your online collective in December of 23. And then we're going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth, and then met you in person. Yeah, it was the in-person for the first time in the oven of Palm Springs in August of 24.
I just had to test to see who was all in.
I was one of them.
I had somebody ask me, what was Palm Springs like? And I said, it was like hell. And that wasn't a metaphor.
So I asked the Uber driver, what's the shortest drives you guys do? He says, we very often take people 2 blocks.
Because they have air-conditioned cars.
They will take people in August 2 blocks and as an Uber and I driver not. But anyways, so I enjoyed Sway Live despite the oven so much that the other half of the couple, the 401 couple, is attending this year. All right.
So
I know we'll be talking about that a little bit more. Now we are getting on to the important part of the podcast. Every episode, the podcast is different than what we do on the couch. Every guest gets to pick their treat. We've had no repeats yet. And Sheri picked cheesecake. Other than it's being morning. That's the first time I've done that. Other than it being morning, is there any reason why we're eating cheesecake?
Well,
specific?
Because my husband makes really good Basque cheesecake.
What does Basque cheesecake mean?
It's a cheesecake without a crust, and it's cooked at a really high temperature so that it gets all caramely.
What is that? Oh.
Yeah, Basque as in Basque.
Yes.
Right? And it's mostly eggs and cream cheese, so it's like protein.
That's
right?
It's vegetarian, so it's okay.
I'm sure there's a little sugar in there.
Okay, so
the dog's outside the door going because he knows I'm eating cheesecake in here. Hilarious.
Okay, so thank you. Now, unfortunately, we didn't share this with you. But you're a pro, you're game. We are going to have, if you watched our Leah Bliss episode, you know this is coming. Okay. It's okay. I'm kidding. So we're going to do a lightning round. Within your wheelhouse.
Okay, cool.
It's not going to stretch you at all.
Good.
What's one of your favorite personal branding tips?
Oh, the big one is that it needs to be Okay, wait. Tips. I would say that the best way to get clarity for your personal brand is to get a purpose.
Okay. I was guessing on authentic, but I think purpose is probably wow, that's good. Okay.
You know,
She
think
just
it's
went
kinda-
deep on the lightning round.
I know she just
Which
she
is
just
perfectly
put the
fine, but
brakes on
she
the
went
lightning round.
she
I'm
went
like, no,
deep.
Okay.
that's very
No, that's
yeah.
good, but I'm
Okay.
saying that went deep. That's
you guys, the thing is that I really feel like the discovery, like working on your personal brand and discovering your purpose is a lifelong pursuit.
And
You know?
is.
purpose is yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's a deep one. All
He's
right.
thinking.
What's a misfit moment you are most proud of?
Oh my gosh. Well, just the fact that I started my conference in 2023, and I was the only one dancing to Prince. And I kept dancing. And the same thing happened the next year. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so embarrassed, and I'm going to still keep dancing. We had a few people dance along last year. So I'm thinking this year we'll be up and everybody will be dancing.
Okay.
I think I remember you
That's a
did that
challenge.
in Palm Springs, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I did not. Okay, I remember that. I thought it was really cool that you were doing it. I did not know that was an invitation for everybody, Sheri. I'm not going to do it, but there's a lot of people
Yeah.
in the room that
I'll be
would
there.
have.
I'll be there for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
that was an invite. Oh, okay.
Well, I don't even, that's a
that.
really good, well, note to self. I didn't necessarily pull people up and go, come on. So, wow.
There was
Wow,
one
that's a good
That's a good-
reminder.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't.
you didn't roll back or have to.
because
you
I'm
didn't-
thinking this is Sheri being Sheri. This is Sheri's stage. I'm not going to get up on Sheri's stage with her unless she calls me.
Wow. Okay. See, that's a good thing. Okay. Good to
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Yep.
What do all financial professionals need to understand about social media?
It's not about you. It's about them.
Wow.
Okay.
She
Yes.
goes deep
Wow.
on the lightning round. This
very,
is yeah.
all right.
This is.
This might be no. This is great. I'm loving Sheri.
Love it.
This might be the hardest question of the day.
Uh-oh.
Because Zach is limiting you to one word.
Okay.
One word to describe Sway Live.
Expansion.
Too many letters for Wordle, but I'll keep it.
This is always the moment when Christopher's like learning in the podcast. He's like takes notes, and we invite
do this
people
to learn.
So.
I don't do this to share knowledge. Okay, now then.
And you know what? Here's the interesting thing. I have never used that word in any of our marketing or anything.
Wow.
No, you're welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
Now then.
Yes.
Because you know where our brain space is, what we're doing tomorrow. Okay. What is your favorite place to travel to?
Wow. I really love Sequim, Washington.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Now,
we might have
Catherine,
to put
here's
the spelling
here's the
on the
deal.
bottom of that
Yes,
so
we
people
will.
know
We will
what
put
it
the
is.
spelling on that.
Okay.
We might.
Okay,
Is it okay
you
if
guys
people
know.
link to the place you shared?
Yes,
Okay.
that I would say. Let's just be more specific. Sunset Marine Resort in Sequim, Washington.
That is
Yeah.
crazy
And
wild.
it's not spelled how you think it is. That is a
It's
very
not.
okay. All right.
How often have you been able to see that sunset or sunrise there?
I haven't been able to see sunrise there because it comes up, and we see sunset from where we are, juxtaposed to the bay, Catherine.
Right. Okay.
So you didn't get to see the pictures, but Sunset Marine Resort is on the Squim Bay.
Okay. Okay.
And I get to paddle on that bay. And many times I'm the only one on the bay in the morning. And I do go out early, so sunrise does come over the hill on me.
Right.
And it is very close to, it's not very close. It's a religious experience. It's spectacular.
It felt very spiritual, the pictures you sent, the pictures you shared of the place.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just magnificent. Yeah. Now, the rest of Squim, like the QFC and the houses above on the hill.
Nice, right?
QFCs are bad. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
so
All right.
for
those of you who don't know, Squim is a retirement community. And when you go into the QFC in Squim, you are reminded of that.
It's very, yeah,
but it's one of the sunniest places in Washington State, definitely on the west side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's the mountains kind of on the Olympic Peninsula take the rain. So,
and it's like a 2-hour drive from the Hoh Rainforest. I mean, it's also, it's very close to one of the wettest places in Washington State where we accidentally camped. But that's, this is mid 80s. We didn't know. We're like, why the hell is it raining
you guys
all
are
this
such
time?
hippies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So pro tip, don't camp in a tent between the ocean and the Hoh Forest.
Rainforest.
Right?
Yes.
Because guess what? It will rain.
Oh, yeah.
Now then, this is our other little moment.
Okay. This is a not normal, very first time, a very unique, probably never going to happen part of the podcast. Okay. Catherine and I went to Door County for Memorial Day weekend
in Wisconsin.
For those of you who don't know. And I don't know if Sheri knows about the brewery that is in Door County. And on Sunrise, okay, so we have we are going back, so we've got 2 t-shirts, okay. So one for Catherine, one for me. Okay, we went, all right. And we have something for you. I don't know if you can read it.
Oh,
you have your very own sway hat. You have your very own sway hat for Sunday morning.
Awesome.
And it's a lovely brewery. We're going back up for 4th of July. And what I was thinking is that it's not an expensive beer, though. And what I was thinking was for the sunrise walk, I've got a backpack cooler. And we were going to bring some sway beers for the people watching the sunrise in Milwaukee in August for sway. So
I love this. Yay. And I went on the walk, by the way, because we'll walk to the lake and then we'll be able to watch the sunrise come up behind the lake. And then there's that, oh, my hair. That big, the wing of the art museum.
Yep.
It comes up right behind the wing of the art museum.
That's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
I figured, so it could be just the 3 of us, which is totally fine. We'll drink beer and coffee and walk.
Okay.
Cool.
So that was a very, we had to try out the food. We had to try out the beer. It's a lovely little place. I've got pictures of their sign, saying sway 0.2 miles.
That way.
Yeah. I'll send you pictures. Okay. But I couldn't wait. I'm like, we got to buy t-shirts. And then just say,
so good.
It's very, very cool. Okay. So that is perhaps, okay, I am going to hurt my elbow patting myself on my own back here. That is probably the most unique intro to you on an interview for you to talk about what the heck sway is. And it's not a microbrewery in Door County, Wisconsin.
Well, it is.
Well, it is, but it's more.
Well, she said expansive, and I think
she did say expansive. That's very funny that your word was expansive, and we have expanded it.
Fabulous. So, Catherine.
Yes.
Right now, you haven't been to Sway, but you hang out with this beautiful man.
Right.
And what I would love is, since you're my target audience, right?
Okay.
What is your how would you describe Sway right now, knowing what you know?
So I have to keep my mouth shut.
See, what I think Sway is you go and meet people who help not only give you the tools, but encourage the courage to be yourself out on social media. And that, actually yesterday I looked up all the people who are, quote, speaking, and looked at them in LinkedIn and said hi to the ones that I did. And I think part of what you do that is unique and why I'm excited is that, marketing on LinkedIn can look boring and or stock photos and everything else. And you're part of the group of people that says, no, let's be creative. Let's be ourselves. Let's think interesting thoughts. Let's go deeper. Like even what you just did at the beginning of this, we did lightning round and you kind of did your own little tweak to it, which is beautiful. So I think it's hard in business. You hear LinkedIn and you think you need to have metrics and you need to have KPIs, and those are beautiful things, but you also need to bring creativity and it really is it's community building experience. And I feel like I'm actually meeting the community that wants to do this, right? So that's how I see this. And so it's different than, does Sheri write a book? Does Sheri do a video I can watch? No, I'm going to actually get to meet people because you're collecting the people who believe this.
You're so good. That, there's so many things that you said. I'm going to start at the end, is that I'm collecting the people who believe this. One of the things that I think is one of my skill sets is that I love to quilt. And I don't quilt with fabric. I quilt with people, and I quilt with glass, and I quilt with ideas. Do you know what I mean? And so the thing that I really work to do is to gather, other creators, misfits, change makers, rule breakers, together. We don't, and creators, to your point, there's not really a space for us to go when there are other conferences happening, you know? This guy named Richard Florida wrote a book in 2003 called The Creative Class. And this was way before the whole creator influencer thing. And his theory was that when the creative class came to an economy, it boosted the economy and changed the economy. And it was fascinating to kind of think about that. And when I left the first Sway Live, I went, wow, that's what our community gets to do, is to be the creators for how we're shifting how financial services shows up. And to your point, Jan, we have a reputation of being boring, judgmental, a variety of different things you ask. And I think it's time that changed. And so you described Sway beautifully. And for me also, I'm creating a place where I want to go. You know what I mean? With people that I adore and love. And one of the things that we get, the three things, I did some videos the other day with Idea Decanter, and I love them as well, right? And the outcomes, I'm trying to think of, because people want to know the outcomes of a conference. And the outcomes of Sway Live that I was thinking about was clarity. Like when you get clear, it makes it so much easier because you have like a focus on the direction that you want to go. So you get some clarity around your purpose and your personal brand. You get a community of people who are doing the same thing, who understand, who are going to cheer you on even when it doesn't look like cheering is the thing that we need. You know what I mean? Just like this community of, Christopher said it the other day, also people who have a growth mindset, And then the last thing is a commitment. And I think that being aligned with part of a group of people that are committed to kind of stretching and pushing this world of financial services to be more creative and inclusive and all the things. People that know the journey that you're on, it just makes it more fun.
Well, I
right?
think you give people a little bit of room to experiment by calling us misfits, okay?
A lot of
And
room.
part of it is that there's so much fear because it's about your career and about quote your income and all of this stuff that you feel like if you don't get it perfect 10 on 10 every single time, that somehow you'll be cast into the chasm, right? That there's a lot of fear on, can you be creative? Sometimes make mistakes, sometimes it doesn't work out. You push yourself out a little further. And I think it, this getting people together helps everybody go, okay, we can do it. And we can kind of go, let's go a little further. And I actually had that experience recently where um Fred Barnstein with his whole thing had
401k TV or whatever
yeah,
it is.
finally had
Yeah.
TPA conference in Chicago that I went to. And what's really funny about it is I made the point that, they're saying, what should TPAs be called? Because it's not for, and we go plan consultants. And I said to everybody, I think we should be called plan wizards. Okay. And I'm about 2/3, maybe 1/2 serious about that. But it is so funny that people love to play with that. And so whether it's adopted or not, it allowed people to play a little bit. And at the end of it, Fred said, I didn't know you TPAs were so much fun. And I'm just like,
Without alcohol.
oh my God, oh my God. And
Yeah.
but it was a compliment in the sense that I think TPAs, they think we grow under little mushrooms and we come out and ask for data. And part of our whole journey with this whole 401k couple and the on the couch bourbon edition thing is like we're both knowledgeable and fun. And of course, now my current
Humble too.
well,
Yeah.
of course, now my joke is, with I have actually been introduced now at one of my networking events as, oh, she's a social media star, which I'm,
Yeah.
but what I like,
By the way, I loved, and I talked to JD the other day, and I said the Retireaholics episode with you guys was phenomenal. And I am not one to listen to TPA's debating code. And something
Neither are we.
about you, Catherine, I was like, damn, go, go, go. And so anyway, it was so much fun to watch, and it's so much fun.
it's
Right.
not always
Oh, well, you too, but
You-
I got a girl crush on Catherine.
sure.
We're all going to show up. I've got some leftover sunglasses from last year, but I
Okay.
got to get the big ones this year.
They
So,
are. And
yeah.
what's funny is it makes you feel a little bit different too. When you say, you're giving yourself room to be a little bit more creative. And so part of, I would say just me even watching like our whole journey on this whole thing, like Christopher tried to do some videos himself in the beginning and he did that total boring person looking at the camera.
They would
and
definitely, they would have been broker dealer approved, which I think is a slam. Okay. Cause they're hidden away in the digital vault somewhere. They're hellacious, but
But
I was,
You got to have them.
But he
You
was
got to have
into
the
it.
bad
But the
ones.
funny thing is he was into it and like, isn't this great? And I go, that is not your personality, man. How did you find that boring person? And so I think that part of this journey that we've been on with you too, and I haven't even as fully been on, is it is discovering your voice and your ability to say things and your ability to experiment. And, saying plan wizards, I just can't even imagine yet, but maybe at some point saying that at ASPA, I'm sure they'd kind of go, oh my God, are you on drugs or something?
I
But
love it. I love the wizard idea, by the way.
well,
Yeah.
and now the funny thing that I say about our group, our on the couch thing is like, I talk about 401k plans and bourbon so that when you leave me, at least I like bourbon, right?
there's
Because
something memorable.
but when you tell it as a story that way, I swear to God, people are like, this is so funny. And you do 401k plans. And I've done enough networking that usually I could spend like hours on a great elevator speech, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do, is have that amazing elevator speech? And it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You can't make 401k plans sound sexy enough in 20 words. You can't. And so when you say I drink bourbon and talk about plans, then suddenly you have something. So I think
Yeah.
so I think it is finding the cracks and pushing them out a little bit and just going, it's important work. And I think the thing when you say what, I don't know if it's quite my flag yet, but I mean, for me, what I think in the industry and TPAs now, plans consultants, is we need to figure out how do we show quality. And that sounds maybe boring, but it's just like we do a great job. I don't know what the word is, but I feel very
Well,
dedicated to the idea of how do you look at quality, and not in a boring way, like in a beautiful
well,
way.
and what we're trying, I think the only way we can do it is, be authentic, be human. All right. Be somewhat transparent, okay, and open to do things. And there's something about what she's saying. Can I get a word in here? All right. This is probably the longest I've been quiet without being asleep in forever. So they the one thing about it, and you don't use these words, you don't use this phrasing because maybe it's got a negative connotation, but part of what you're talking about is giving people the space to make mistakes and to do it wrong. Okay. Because the part about this that I think is very important that isn't talked about enough is it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to screw up. Okay.
But get
Well,
up and do it again.
well, yeah. Well, I don't mean guarantee something that just can't happen and get you in illegal trouble. I don't mean that. Okay. So if you sound like a dork, you sneezed in the middle of something, you can't, the audio's garbled. So what? Okay. You've got to, and because of all the messages that you're talking about, that's also part of the journey. And you help provide the space where people know that they can start from nothing, because people, I mean, maybe we should occasionally show the original videos to show people what's possible.
Yeah, our original videos
Well,
are on our YouTube channel.
here's the other thing. Our industry is in desperate need of innovation and creativity. And they spend a lot of money in these innovation hubs that they create. And they only have a certain amount of people that they let be innovative. You know what I mean? And I mean judgmental. And of course, this is why
That's why we're
I'm
here,
not
Sheri.
not in corporate
And they
America
come
anymore.
up with a slightly different colored lighthouse for us,
Yeah.
right?
But the fact of the matter is there's this fear of, understandably, security, that people have their jobs and their livelihoods and their families' livelihoods at stake.
Yep.
And then, we're a very regulated industry. Okay, I understand that. And that fear seeps through everything. And unfortunately, it's a dark cloud over anything innovative or creative. And so, how are we going to nurture the next generation of like people who are going to finally crack the code on enrollment, or finally crack the code on financial literacy? I mean, we haven't done it yet, right? I mean, we still have a way, like there's millions of more people that we need to help. And if we don't create a place for creators and innovators where the only way to create is to make a mistake, it like, so, so that's the other thing. You're right. Like, okay, when you ask me what is my proudest misfit moment, can I tell you about my first week in financial services?
Of course. That's why we're here.
Okay, so 1994, those baby doll dresses were very popular.
Oh, dear.
And Lisa Messina, who is a very well-respected consultant in the world of 401k plans. In fact, she used to work at State Street. She came back to Oregon and started Oregon's first state-run 401k. So state 401k, Lisa Messina. And she is brilliant and smart, and one of the first probably 25 people who got her CFA. So I go to work for this firm called Arnerich Messina as a graphic designer to create 401k education materials in 1994. And I'm in the hallway because Arnerich Messina is growing like crazy, and Lisa Messina's office is right behind me. So I'm wearing a baby doll dress, and I come back. Catherine knows where this is going. I come back from the restroom, and I go like this to tuck my baby doll dress under my bum to sit down, and discover that it's tucked into my thong underwear.
And you're in the hallway. Yep. Yep.
Been there, done that. No.
No, that
So that's my first week in financial services, and out of my mouth just I howl, and this Lisa Messina, who's very she's not very prim and proper, but she was at work because she was like she's the Messina of the Arnerich Messina, was on the phone, and I am just flat out anyway. So that actually is my, if we couldn't make mistakes in financial services, I wouldn't be here.
And
right.
it's only, well, it's only up from there. So,
and that's actually a great story, because you actually always feel like you'll be defined, quote, by your worst moment. But actually, sometimes your worst moment is your funniest moment and is your most relatable moment. And it's the whole, did I do a whole presentation with spinach in my teeth? Or, you find out you had 2 different colored socks, which is allowable now, my daughter. But I mean, you're actually very relatable that you like did that, but you kept going, so yeah, there's like some hardcore skills in this whole thing too. Pick yourself up.
Definitely. Well, and
Christopher's like, that's a new story.
That's yeah. I haven't heard that one before. Okay. I'm trying to, where do I go from here? Okay.
How do you top that one?
I'm not going to try to top. I'm going to try to like change lanes. So they, you do give, I think, some of us in the group, this is another reason to go and be there. Okay. You do give some of us the courage to do more things and to try more things. Okay. I still don't have your courage. Okay. But there was I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if it was last year or 23 there. I'm not going to get too specific, but you did something about was it an orange dress? Because you're a redhead. You did a blog post about you weren't supposed to wear an orange dress.
Pink. I wasn't supposed to wear pink.
Pink?
Yeah.
Sorry, pink.
Yeah.
It was pink.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to wear pink when you were a girl, and you said, screw it, you're going to wear pink. And I'm trying to remember my own self-authenticity with that blog post. Okay. I sometimes think too much about what I'm thinking other people are going to think. I'm not 100% Sheri Fitts yet, but trying. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody else, but you do, the way you talk about things, and it's not it's a courage to try something different, and it's definitely under the be authentic, a brand or element or whatever the heck it is.
The thing, when I first started thinking about this whole personal branding thing, I was like, wah, wah. Somebody asked me to do a thing on it, and I honestly thought that it was a little bit navel gazing, and okay, especially for women, like what suits to wear, and how to carry yourself and all that kind of stuff, like who we thought we were supposed to be. And as I have leaned more into this purpose kind of component of it, it makes it a journey in self-discovery. And the other part of it is that there's a lot of, we are so critical of ourselves. And the thing that having a purpose does is, it's not about it's not about me then. It's about who am I here to serve and how can I serve them, you know? And I don't know, I could go on and on
Well,
about it, but yeah.
But I think there's another layer that you need to put on it if we've gone deep a couple of times. And I think that to be an artist sounds like it needs to be somebody else, right? Like you needed to go to art school. To be creative is what you do in your spare time. And I almost feel like we're in a juncture of society where creativity and artistry is actually so important to what's happening. And some of it is just
Human creativity.
human creativity, right? It's that being authentic. Not only do we need each other, we need to know that we're really there. We need to not just go everything's corporate talk or everything's polished to the nth degree. I think there's a real need in that, and there's a strength in having it. So yes, it sounds like, I'm going to put my own personal brand out and it sounds really polished. I'm just saying your authentic self going out there and saying, I've done this for 30 years and oh my God, I have stories, I have this, I have missteps, I have successes, and people need to see that reality so they'll actually feel like, okay, I can do this.
Right. But I think, yes, and
Yes.
when it
Throwing
comes to
down some improv skills right there.
Second City, Chicago, we got to do it, right?
watch every Conan episode, podcast. Okay, so, but for part of personal, I think the authenticity comes before the personal branding. Okay, you can't, and I don't know that we talk enough about the order. You can't go and and that's the navel gazing element. A navel gazing element, if a navel gazing element of personal branding is thinking about what your personal brand is supposed to be from an from a not she's glad she said, did I get it? From
No,
a
no,
not.
hang on. Somebody is coming in here harassing me for
Oh,
cheesecake.
she
Come on.
Oh, okay.
I thought I was getting snaps because I was doing the right thing.
Well, you are. Hang on.
We got to calm the dog down.
I'm gonna give the dog the cheesecake, but 1 second. Fezzik, you have to come up and have a moment so that I can continue to listen to Christopher. Wait, huh? Catherine hasn't seen him. Come on, Bubba. Come on. Look.
Yeah, I have.
Come on.
This is a big
Oh, yeah.
dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
my
Oh
God,
my
yes,
goodness, that's
that
right.
is a
Yeah,
big dog.
golly, yes.
That is a big dog.
Filippo wants him.
Ready? Watch. Ready? Boom.
He's gonna.
He actually was looking at the camera. There's a still in there that's actually quite good.
Okay.
Okay, let's
Get
work
out now.
Okay, that's going to be a very interesting
He gets the rest of the
thumbnail.
cheesecake. Ready?
That's
There
going
you
to be
go.
an interesting thumbnail for
Yep.
LinkedIn.
I
and
agree
YouTube.
with you. So here's where you were going. You were saying that first you kind of have to be clear about who you are in order to, have be clear about who you are so that you're clear about who you serve and where you're going. You said, authenticity first, brand second. I agree.
Because otherwise it's not a real personal brand. They're going to find the fakeness is going to come through, the lack of authenticity. You can't think about your personal brand. You have that is the dog licking the plate clean.
Yes,
This
totally.
is a first on the 4-1 Couple podcast. Okay,
Yes.
the dog is finishing the treat, and normally there's alcohol, we frown on that, but this is okay this time. So you can't
Yep.
have you can't think about what your personal brand is. You have to be true to yourself about being authentic about what you are, and then your personal brand comes from that, and then you lean into that, and maybe you make certain elements a little bit stronger, a little bit weaker, whatever, you know what I mean? But the parts that you have to feel comfortable with.
But what I really want to add to that as well too is I know that whole part of you need to know this before you do that. I want to say that part of this is a journey of discovery as well, right? Like you do not know if you're brand new to this and you go to Sway because you're so excited, the next day it's not going to be perfect. And don't like, if I don't totally know my purpose, I'm going to
No,
fail. It is a
Oh
journey of
no, it's
the
just an
discovery.
journey is
onion.
finding the purpose and
Yep.
being willing to
But
change and
you know that
understand what you're seeing. Yes.
as you do it. So I just want to be encouraging to people, like, you don't have to do a 12-step discover yourself
No,
program
no, there's
Right.
before.
there's
Well,
no book. You got to do it.
well, and this is the thing, which is that so day one is just a half a day, Sunday. And it's pretty much just all coming together and celebrating that we're there and we made the journey in. And then we've got a really cool Nashville session musician, Mike Rayburn, who's going to open for us. And then Greg Delson is coming. So that's kind of just a tiny little gap. We're getting together, right? That's it.
Yep.
And then Monday is this whole, to your point, a journey into understanding purpose. And Catherine, you're right. That effort is never done. That's why if I were going to rename Sway, get very woo woo with me. I'm wearing my kimono. Why not? It would be called Dharma, because it's very much the journey of purpose and service and self-reflection and growth. So that's Monday, and we have people talking about their purpose, and then we have some of the Sway community talking about their journey into self-discovery and personal branding. And then Monday night is the very first ever Sway Spotlight. Think about so we go out to dinner, you guys are all on your own for dinner. We come back and we have our own little like open mic kind of situation where 7 people get 8 minutes to test out an idea. So if you're thinking about, I want to be a speaker, I want to do more of this, or I want to start blogging and here's my idea, or I'm a podcaster and I want to do this, or whatever it is, we've got a space for 7. And Jay Washington, since it's his birthday, is going to be the MC. And not to mention, I'm expecting him to kind of like walk down the hallway like he's a king coronated. I have no idea. I'm just really looking forward to the outfit Jay brings to the session. So that's Monday. And then Tuesday is,
A bunch of
it's
us are going
not
to be
like,
asked to carry him in on a litter, probably.
exactly. Tuesday is more like, all right, so, this is all just a tasting menu. It's, you're not going to walk away and go, aha, I know. But Tuesday is like the smorgasbord of, okay, what are the trends in the kind of options? So video, newsletters, thought leadership, LinkedIn, Leah's back. Yeah, there's more. Anyway, Tuesday is kind of like this fast and furious 30-minute best trends in almost like what's your media that you pick.
Right.
That's Tuesday. So
What's your
Monday,
point?
we
Yep.
kind of spend a lot of time going, okay, what is your personal brand? What does it stand for? And Tuesday is which channel am I going to pick? And last year, Christopher, that what I ask everybody to do is make a commitment, which is make a commitment to yourself and a single idea to get done by December 31st, 2025. Right?
I remember, and we did it.
Yep. You did. I know.
The
So it's a little bit of, Adam Sokolic said to me last year, Sheri, I was expecting Tuesday, like LinkedIn and newsletters and marketing and all that kind of stuff. I was expecting Tuesday. I just wasn't expecting Monday. You have to tell people more about Monday. And I'm like, I don't know if we can. I mean, I think we're doing a really good job of kind of pointing out the benefit of the journey that we go on Monday, for sure. I'm so excited. It's just, yeah.
Okay. So let's be a little bit more specific and a little bit
Yes.
more professional, so we can do some clips and shorts and stuff like that. Okay.
Okay.
Sheri, what
Yes.
is the name of the program?
So it's the conference is called Sway Live. It is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, from August 3rd through the 5th.
Yep.
Sunday, Sunday, August 3rd through Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, August 5th. Just
So
FYI.
we'll be coming home Wednesday morning.
Yes.
And Sheri, I take it as a personal favor, and I'm so grateful that we can drive there and we're not going to an oven. So God bless you, woman. Okay, that's very kind of you. All right.
Yes.
For anybody who's worried, Milwaukee is significantly more fun than you've ever thought.
Oh yeah, Milwaukee's great.
Oh, it
it's
really
going to
is.
be.
Oh, I
It's
love
it's going to be
Milwaukee.
a
It's
great
so
time. So
walkable.
I did double check to
yeah.
see if anything was going on at Fiserv Arena while we're there. Nope. Okay. Where
No.
the Brewers play, even if they're playing those nights, it's too far away to
Is that
just like.
Summerfest though?
No.
Okay.
Summerfest is a little bit is before.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
So we've got Milwaukee, we've got Sway, we've got August. I'm guessing we have a couple of spots left.
Oh yeah, we do.
Operators are standing by, first time callers. What?
Standing by, yes. And what I'll do, by the way, is I will make a 401 couple promo code.
Oh.
So if they use a 401 couple without the parentheses, so
Okay.
FOR, no.
Yeah.
401K OUPLE.
Wow.
If you use that as the promo code, you'll save $100 on the ticket.
That is beautiful. I love the promo code.
Yeah.
I think they should pay $100 more. No, that doesn't work like that. No. Okay. No, I'm kidding. No, I knew probably, so my biggest regret from last year was that Catherine wasn't a part of it. No, seriously. Okay.
I got to explore.
Huh?
I got to explore.
Yeah, I know you got to do this a little bit. Yeah. No, but
you came to Joshua Tree with us.
Yes,
that was really cool.
That was amazing.
And I liked doing it as a group. If you want to know the truth,
that was really.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely worth getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or whenever the heck it was. So,
no, there's some things that are fun to do as a group.
That's definitely
right?
very group. Yeah. So. No, but so it was definitely very fun. I think there was, if I may be honest with you, I think there was some people there who their bosses had sent them there, and they didn't exactly have 100% buy-in at the beginning of the event. They didn't know why they were there. Okay. Yeah. So that was not us. But I think by the end of the journey, they were definitely on board. And and if you want, if you want the answer cut out, Zach does what we ask. Okay. Yeah. What percentage are repeats? And I just found out Kevin Spaeth can't make it this year. He kept telling me he was coming, but he's got something going on. He can't make it now. So
he's got family coming from London,
family.
And one of them is 80 plus years old. So it's really crucial that he be there.
They'll be there the next week. So what percentage are repeats? Do you have any idea of that?
Wow.
Is that a good number?
Last year we had 70% repeats. This year I think we're going to be around 60% or more repeats. Okay. There are a lot of repeats that haven't gotten their tickets yet, that are still getting their tickets.
I'm telling you, they're coming. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then they're coming because they're just not coming. Let's be clear. There's some people that I just boss around and say. So
you're doing.
But I'll tell you this: we're capping it at 150 people.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever. I'm hoping that.
Isn't that the number of the amount of people you can remember?
Is it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and there's a woman who wrote a book called The Gathering or something like that. And there's magical numbers like 7 and 12 and 24 and whatever. Right. And 150 is another kind of really. And we will be, for the foreseeable future, that's where it will be.
I think that's a good, that's
and I'm looking at another really cool spot for next year. I'm excited.
Cool temperature or?
Oh, yeah. Not cool. Perfect temperature. It's been on my bucket list to host Sway there.
We're not going to swim. That's not gonna. No,
we're not going to swim. No, no, no swim. That's just my magic place. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotta love Filippo. So we are recording this early June.
Yes.
We are going to have Zach get this out quicker than usual. Is that what Zach is?
Thank you, Zach.
I'm sending this all to Zach. So.
Yeah. Okay. So when do you want them to? We will have a link. We will
Yes.
get a link from
I'll
you
get
in
that.
the
Yep.
show note. They will get links
Mhm.
and all that, and we'll also put up a graphic and a clickable link in the
I'll get you
podcast.
guys some assets, link, coupon code stuff. Yeah, I can
And
get all that
when do you
together.
want them? Because Zach wants us to say, when do you want them to register by?
The room block closes on June 30th. So
The room block was June
register and
30th.
get your room in the room block by June 30th.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but they can come to if they register July 1st, they can, because the thing's in August, there
Yes.
might still be room, but they're on their own for room prices, and maybe there isn't room in the hotel.
Yes. Yeah. And the room block is limited this year.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah.
And the nice thing is, just for those of you who travel a lot in the world of financial services, it's a Marriott property, which
Yes.
is really, we like.
That was
I
a
like
pleasant
Marriott.
surprise. Yes.
Right? Isn't that nice? So we get points too. So there's that. And I intentionally do this, a couple of things, which is, and I don't know if I can keep making this promise, but this year, the rooms are under $200 a night.
Okay, that's
Wow.
good.
So
For
yeah.
Good. Well, it's good. Milwaukee's a good place.
Milwaukee's a good value, and compared to
Mhm.
BMC, this is going to be an even better value. I'm looking forward so much. I am so happy. I am so grateful. Catherine is coming with me this time to be part of it. Okay, but there is the compliance nerd does pop out of my head. So do we sit together? Do we sit separate, opposite sides of the room? What do you want couples to do? If some people are going as a couple, are we together or are we apart? What do you think's better?
Well, and Brian Brashaw's bringing his daughter, which I just feel so
Oh.
honored by. And I'm working on a couple of other folks that are thinking about bringing their college graduate
Okay.
That's
folks.
great.
Cool.
And I will let you decide.
Okay.
And there will be one exercise where I will ask you. It's on Monday. It's around 10:30. I will ask you to find somebody that you don't know.
Okay.
Or don't know well. Yeah,
Okay.
one exercise.
No,
Yeah.
no,
we
Jeffrey.
are trying to expand our
We're
network,
definitely trying to
too.
expand.
Yes.
She's much better. I'm the loud one, but she's much better at the networking with strangers in rooms than I am. So this is going to be good for me.
Well, and much like last year, there's only 4 people at each table. So from,
Oh, that's right. It's only 4. Yeah.
right? So that
We
it
definitely talk.
builds in, it engineers in intimacy.
Yep.
Right? So that you don't have to be yelling across the
No.
round circle thing and
Right.
that kind of stuff. So that's really nice. Yeah.
So ringing endorsement from me to go again. Be prepared to stretch a mental hammy. Okay, it's not physically exerting. Okay, it's physical. It's easy to do, but you be prepared to purposefully be uncomfortable, because we are talking about personal growth, and I'm a huge huge proponent of that. And if you can come. We're looking forward to seeing you there.
And because we're
Thank
the
you.
yin and yang of each other, I'm saying it's a complete opportunity to really lean into some amazing things you can grow into.
Yeah. Well, I love you. And thank you so much. And Catherine, I am just really tickled pink that you're going to be there this year. And we have a photo booth that I already have paid for and everything. And I am bringing a whole bunch of berets from my Burning Man days that I had when I did a
I
whole
would love to
French
see them.
club. I made what's that green drink?
Absinthe.
I was in charge of the bar at Burning Man. And I
No.
did absinthe drinks, and we had gypsy jazz playing and berets, and it was just hilarious. So I have a whole bunch of berets, and I'm gonna pile those along with the photo booth so that we can all just wear berets. Yeah.
So at some point, I'm not
Yeah.
supposed to request the guests treat, but at some point we will have you on again. I mean, next year sometime we'll do something else again. If we do a post 3 o'clock recording, can we have the drink be absinthe? I just love
Yeah,
it. It will be
yeah.
a very free-flowing conversation with all three of us drinking absinthe.
Wormwood and woo wee. Yeah, that'd be fun.
No,
We could
no
do that.
fire, just sugar. So,
Yes.
okay, all right. So have we done enough, Sheri? Is this good?
Oh, holy
Are you happy? Are
criminy.
you
Have
happy
you
with
done
this?
enough? Have you done more than enough? Thank you
No.
so much, you guys.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
so excited about your trip to France.
Oh my God.
we
I am
are,
too. It's one of those things like you're working and you're working, and then suddenly you go, oh, I'm going again.
and
And then you work and you work and you work and you go, oh, you know.
and
Where are
in
you going? Where are you going?
36 minutes we get to check in for the flight.
Oh,
So the
cool.
first place is San Malo, right?
Well, yeah, we're flying into Paris. We're driving
To
to
San Malo.
Brittany.
Yeah.
San
Brittany.
Malo, yeah.
And then I'm going to Rennes, and you're going to Le Mans.
We're having separate vacations together. So we're together in the beginning. I'm
Mhm.
going to the town of Le Mans for the 24 hours of Le Mans, the car race. Okay, it's the
Yeah,
second time
cool.
I'm going. So while she's in Brittany, I'm in Le Mans, and then I go and pick you up again,
Right. And then we train together.
and then we
So
go back
So
to,
romantic. Then you
and
guys
then
like engineer a chance meeting on the street.
hey, yeah.
okay, 3 years ago, she flew to 2 years ago, she flew to France 2 or 3 weeks before I did. Okay, she
Yeah.
was in a language boot camp. And
Nice.
I flew in that morning and then didn't have a rental car then, but I went. It was very, very positively surreal. I went to meet my wife at the Momont. No. I can't remember the train station in Paris, but I went to meet my wife at a Paris train station. And while I was waiting for her train to come in, I'm sitting in an outside cafe having a beer. You know,
So good.
it was
Man, like a
it was
movie, right?
wonderful.
Like
So now
movie.
then,
Yeah.
some of the
So
topper
good.
is when we're spending 4 or 5 nights in the Loire, and we got an Airbnb in a 14th century, the tower of a 14th century chateau.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're kind
It's
of,
gonna be, yeah, I'm looking forward to it just a little bit.
oh man.
So
cool.
So our wonderful guest today has been Sheri Fitts from Sway Live. This is Catherine and Christopher Tipper, your favorite 401 couple.
This is a hug.
Here, see you later. Virtual hugs.
Hello.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
See you guys.